Hi guys, Brad Phillips for the Grand Lodge of Arkansas, and welcome to the second video in this series dedicated to the subject of ritual in Arkansas Freemasonry. In this video, I would like to focus on how our adopted work applies to the individual member and possibly provide some insight into why we must have an official program. Our ritual program is what sets us apart from other organizations. The ritual program creates a sense of ownership within the fraternity. It allows the member to obtain a sense of responsibility to commit the lessons to memory and then pass that knowledge on to the next generation of Mason. So, therefore, the ritual program, once they commit that to memory, it's not in a book, it's not scripted, it's nothing that. They actually know the adopted work, and it's a part of them, and they are able to pass that on to future generations of Masonry. Our ritual program is only going to be as strong as our membership's commitment to it. Makes sense? To the new member, why is it essential that we have an adopted program? Well, there's many reasons why, but I believe the most important reason is because it enhances the Masonic experience for each candidate. By having the degrees follow a specific adopted work, an official script, every candidate receives the exact same degree, and they receive the exact same lessons taught in the exact same manner. It allows the members to discuss with other members of the fraternity what's happened to them, and then they can relate with each other. And if they're kind of fuzzy on one of the lessons or something that was taught, one of the more senior members can explain it to them. So, no, this is what that meant. If we did not have an official adopted script, the candidates wouldn't receive the exact same quality of education or experience as they progressed through the degrees. Some people's memories are better than others. If it was not a scripted degree, then some of the lessons that were intended to be communicated to these candidates wouldn't necessarily be communicated to them if we didn't have an adopted way to do it. And therefore they wouldn't receive as many of the lessons. They wouldn't receive as many of the things that we want to express to the new candidates and try to teach them. So, just because you don't have a good memory doesn't mean you're not a good Mason. That's not what I'm trying to say at all. Many people are different. Just because you don't have a good memory as far as being able to know the you wills and the twos and the mights instead of the mays doesn't mean you're a bad Mason. It doesn't mean you're any less of a Mason than a person that can sit there and rattle that stuff off word for word for word for word. It just means they have a better memory than you. That's it. That's the only difference, because every Mason is equally as important as the next Mason. No one is better than anyone else. Everyone is on the level, and everyone is treated exactly the same as far as their importance to this fraternity. It's just that some people have a knack for memorization and doing scripted work. Some people have a better knack for community involvement or with scholarships or showing up to the lodge early and faithfulness to the lodge activities and stuff. Some people are great with that. Some people, it's whatever is important to you as far as what aspect of Freemasonry you want to involve yourself in. Some people just love the ritual. That's just their thing. So if you don't know the ritual word perfect, don't worry about it. It allows the visiting members to be able to take part in the degree. Now, some of the benefits of being in the fraternity is being able to fellowship and participate in some of these degrees. Traveling and seeing their lodge brothers take part in welcoming new candidates, it strengthens the bond of brotherhood. Now, by everyone knowing the exact same ritual script all over the state within Arkansas, It allows them to go to another lodge and help and participate. Freemasonry is not a contest. Okay, one lodge is not trying to outdo the other one as far as how many new members they get or anything like that. We're there to help each other, and we're there to boost each other up. And if you happen to have a member who happen to be absent that night, you're having a degree and welcoming a candidate, you have visitors come in, and those visitors can fill that spot, and that candidate can get the exact same quality of degree as he would if one of the other members were there. And that gives them a sense of satisfaction to be able to help their lodges, and everything works better. It works more fluid that way. Everyone knowing the established work allows them to be able to fulfill the responsibilities that the lodge owes to the candidate. If some otherwise it might be left out. So moving on to proficiencies or lectures. For the benefit of our non-Masons, a lecture or a proficiency is a series of questions and answers that the candidate must commit to memory and then recite that back in open lodge. While we want the person asking the questions, the lecturer, when we want them to know the lecture, pretty much word perfect, as close as they can, the candidate himself is only required to have a working knowledge. Okay, he doesn't need to know every single word and syllable and everything right out the gate. A working knowledge of ritual is important because everyone is different, just like I said earlier. Some candidates have a better memorization than others. The important thing to remember is that the candidate understands the lesson rather than being able to perfectly recite the ritual from the very start of his Masonic career. As the new member progresses in his Masonic journey, he will become more proficient in the ritual. The more he hears it, the more acceptable it'll be to him, and the more common it'll be, and he'll be able to recite it backward perfect. It's just a matter of doing it. As with everything in life, the first thing to do is learn the technique when you learn a new skill, whether it be a new job or a new hobby or whatever we're talking about. Take woodworking, for example. No one expects a novice to be able to produce a beautiful, ornate, rocking chair or chest of drawers or whatever. We don't expect that. The first thing you have to do is know how to make it, how to build it. And then that skill and artistry will come later. It's the same thing with the fraternity. No one expects a candidate to be able to do our adopted script word perfect right out the gate from day one. That is something that will take time, it take practice, and something that he can work on. A stated meeting is no exception as far as ritual. Everything from the opening ceremonies to the order of business to the closing ceremonies is all scripted. It's all adopted work. And this also ensures continuity throughout the lodges. It's the same thing with the degree. If members from another lodge want to visit your lodge for a stated meeting night, maybe you've got a candidate being voted on, or you've got some presentations or something to do, or if they just want to come say hi. If you have an officer or a member there who is not present, those guys from that other lodge can fill in for that spot, and you can just keep going as if everyone was already there to begin with. It shows continuity, and it also enhances the Masonic experience for everyone involved. Now, the Grand Lecturer is annually elected at the Grand Session each year in February. He is responsible for supervising the ritual program of the Board of Deputy Grand Lecturers under the direction of the Committee on the Work. And the Committee on the Work is the executive committee, which consists of the top 4 elected officers in Arkansas in the Grand Line: the Grand Master, the Deputy Grand Master, and the 2 wardens. Those are the top 4 guys. The Grand Lecturer is also responsible for maintaining uniformity in the adopted work of the Grand Lodge. In the event there is a question with the board on a certain way this adopted script should go, the Grand Lecturer will be responsible for preparing the necessary presentation for action at the delegates at the Grand Lodge. So let's say there's something they've got a question on, and they don't, well, we think it should go this way, and this half should say, well, we want it to go this way. Well, the Grand Lecturer, he would prepare both of those methods, and he would take it to the delegates at the Grand Session. Now, as I spoke about in a previous video, the Grand Session is like the annual yearly convention, where all of the delegates of Arkansas Masonry would come to Little Rock, and they would decide on matters of law. And the Grand Lecturer would present these options to the guys. Say, hey guys, we got these two ways that we can do something, and I need you to decide which way you'd rather do it. And the delegates would decide which way they prefer, and after they do that, it's adopted. That's the way you're going to do it from now on. So that's the Grand Lecturer's responsibility as well, in order to be able to settle disputes with the delegates, with the board to the delegates. He is responsible also for scheduling schools of instruction for all of the lodges who want to be more proficient in the adopted work. Now, I hope that this video has helped both our membership and our non-Mason viewers become more aware of the importance of having an adopted ritual, why we need it, why it's essential to do that. It is one of the defining characteristics of Freemasonry. In the next video, I would like to be focusing more on the certified card holders. I'm going to wrap this up with the certified instructors and lecturers and officer proficiency guys. And I want to really focus on your new responsibilities, since you have taken it upon yourself to memorize the adopted ritual, word perfect, and attain your certification. And we'll explore that in the next time. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me any time here at the Grand Lodge office. Our phone number here is 501-374-6408. You can send me an email at gs@argrandlodge.com. You can send us a message through our website at argrandlodge.com, or just stop by the Grand Lodge building here at 712 Scott Street here in Little Rock, Arkansas. Thank you. Until next time.